Big Ten victory that began with special units. And I thought our special units stepped up, and obviously the punt block for the touchdown, and our kickoff coverage was excellent, and A.J. Tressel buried them at a key point in the game, down on the 4-yard line or whatever. And our defense fought all day long and made them take the long path to the goal line and kept them out of the end zone. And offensively, we didn't get near as much done as we're going to need to get done, but we didn't turn it over. And that's critical in a Big Ten battle. And I think we all know we've got a lot of work to do, but we also know that we need to come up with wins, especially as we're in conference play.
Jim, is there one word you could use to describe the offensive performance today? If you had to use one word?
Probably hit and miss. There was a moment where you looked good, and then a moment where you went backwards, and we're not consistent at all. And it'll be interesting to watch the film, but from where I was, we certainly didn't control the line of scrimmage. That's where it starts.
On the offense as well, is it you tip your cap to them for their play, although they came in struggling, rushing D, and they did fairly well today. It goes back to, you said, to the line of scrimmage.
Well, obviously they did pretty well. We usually base our evaluations on how we felt we did, and we didn't think we did as well, but we certainly give them the respect of the fact that they did what they had to do to keep us from getting in the end zone.
Coach, how did your team grow today?
I think anytime you get in a good battle, you grow, and every time you have experiences of what does it take to win a football game, and you have a little proof that hey, if you make a big play in the special teams, and if your special teams are good all day long, and your defense doesn't give up any big ones, and your offense doesn't turn it over, that you have a chance to win. And so how did we grow? Maybe with a further understanding that those are really the primary things. We went into the game saying that the offense's #1 role must be to secure the football, because if we start turning it over to Purdue back on our end, or giving them plays that they can run back to the house or whatever, we're not going to be successful. So I think it's just a little bit more proof of what it takes, but I think also that everyone in the room knows that we got to get better.
Coach, as frustrating as it was on offense, on the other side of it, they scored no touchdowns, and really you kept them out of a dangerous situation for most of the day. Can you talk a little more about the defensive effort today?
I thought the defense did a great job with their plan. I think our defensive guys prepared very well. You could tell that they diagnosed things and broke on the ball, anticipated, knew the formations, and the way that that Purdue does things, and just kept coming, and coming, and Purdue made some plays, but I think our defense never got flustered, and they tried a couple over 50 field goals. It was as close as they got, which that's pretty good. Plus we came up with takeaways.
Jim, were you close to putting Todd into the game at any point today? What were the conversations along those lines after?
We were probably less concerned, or just less discussion about that, as we were talking about how can we gain control of the line of scrimmage and become more consistent. There was one drive I remember that we knocked off about 3 straight plays that were 12 to 15 yards, and all of a sudden 3 straight plays that we just didn't get it done. So there weren't any huge discussions about that.
Jim, when you're talking about the offense, do you feel like it's a long way away from where you want this offense to be, competing down the road in the Big Ten, or are there places where it's not that far?
Well, I think as we watch the video this week, we'll feel as if we're a long ways away, because we just didn't do things consistently. It didn't come up with plays, and didn't come up with explosive gains and those kinds of things. Had a couple deep ones open, and didn't quite get them, and those kinds of things. But we've got to evaluate ourselves, and also recognize that the things that we need to do well, like securing the football, we have to make sure we continue that.
Jim, Beanie, did he look 100% to you today? I mean, obviously he came off last week with a little sore, and then he was sick in the middle of the week. And then number two, y'all put him back in there on that last possession. Was that looking for a 100-yard game for him? Because he was, I think, 10 yards away at that point.
I didn't know how many yards he had, so no, we didn't do it for that reason. You know, he missed a little practice this week, but I thought he ran hard. I mean, there were some times where he, you know, broke 2 or 3 tackles on a play, and you know, there were also some times where he couldn't even get his feet to the line of scrimmage, you know, and banged in there as hard as he could. So, you know, he did miss a little bit of practice time, but I don't think it was significant.
Coach, we would talk about the Malcolm's game today, not only on the field but off the field. He's such a leader for you, and then today making some huge plays that turn the game.
Well, that's the great thing about having guys like the ones up here. You know, they're unselfish. All they care about is how well the team does, and you know, they want to do whatever they can, you know, to make plays for the team. And you know, Malcolm, he's instinctive and studies and prepares and knows what they're going to come with out of certain looks, and you know, he's got great ability. And you got help up front, people put pressure on, and sometimes guys have to let it go when they're not quite ready. And so I thought we played good team defense, and obviously your leaders, Malcolm and James, when they're playing well, it really helps.
Jim, when the offensive line is struggling like it was today, is it easy for a young quarterback to try and do too much? And were there times when Terrell kind of got caught in that, you know, that catch there?
You know, I think anytime there's some penetration and you know, people, you know, pushing back the line of scrimmage and so forth, it makes it difficult on a running back to, you know, be able to have his proper steps and vision and so forth. And I think it's tough on the quarterback. And you know, we've got to have a little bit more experience to, you know, to be able to ignore those things. But you know, we couldn't stand there all day today, that's for sure.
Just a better performance today for the defensive line, and also how's Lawrence Wilson?
Lawrence is going to have an MRI tomorrow, so we really don't know. As far as I thought, the defensive line, you know, came after it, and it was good to see Todd Denlinger back in there again, and Nader Abdallah coming up with a sack, and you know, Thaddeus and Cameron and Rob Rose and all those guys, they were getting after it, and that quarterback was interested in getting rid of the ball, you know, pretty quickly, and he's been back there doing it for 5 years, and you know, so no matter how long you've been doing it back there, if people can get in your face, you know, it makes that position a little more difficult.
What does the offense need to do to be more productive in the red zone?
Score touchdowns. I hate to say that, but you know, we had a 1st and goal twice on the 9, you know, and didn't get in, and not that that's the easiest place to get in from, but you know, we have to be able to gain a little bit more on 1st down. We were getting 2, or we got 1 on 2nd down, and had some penetration that knocked us backwards when we were in there. And you know, you've got to know that the field has shrunk, and they're going to be coming harder, and you're going to have to break some tackles and complete some passes and those things, and you just didn't get that done.
Coach, you want to right in front.
Right.
I'll do. I want to ask about Michigan State. I mean, obviously you know Mark D'Antonio very well, and Don Treadwell, and the challenge that they're going to bring for you next week. They're on a real roll, it seems, right now, and just how difficult that's going to be coming off this game to go up there and play next week.
Well, I assume they won today.
You're up 34-17.
And
second half.
you know, that means they've won 6 in a row, and you know, they've got a veteran team. They got a great leader in Javon Ringer and Hoyer, the quarterback, and defensively, you know, they're always tough. And yes, we do know those guys that coach over there. We know that they'll have them tremendously prepared. We're going to their house, which is difficult in the Big Ten to go away, and we know we'll have our hands full, and we need to be ready for it.